Hello and welcome to AiSara. My name is Ayman and I'm going to show you how AiSara and the Excel Solver can help you find a solution to a complex problem. So a brief introduction about AiSara. AiSara is a proprietary algorithm allows for automated analysis. It has only one mission, which is to find the pattern in your data. So you can get the most important results fast. And all you need is a Microsoft Excel to get started. So now we shall start our demonstration, and in the beginning we need a data set. So I'll show you how to get a data set from here. We'll be using the sample button and we'll be using a history matching data set for our demonstration today. Okay. So this is a data set from the various reservoir simulations. And it has 6 variables, which could be anything really, and the result is the history matching error. So the lower the history matching error, the better the match for your reservoir. So each row is like a simulation that runs and that corresponds to the 6 variables, and at the end here is this history matching error based on the 6 variables that we have here. So the 6 variables that we have here are, the first one is a fault pressure threshold, and the second 2 are the permeability multiplier for 2 regions, and then here we have the pore volume multiplier of 3 different regions. And so that's all about the data set. So what can AiSara help here? The objective of this video is to find the variable that gives the best history match for the reservoir. So the minimum history matching error in this dataset is around 0.014 here, as you can see at the bottom. And so what we can do is we'll put a before minimum history matching error, and the value is around 1.0140. And we can put another cell, we put after minimum history matching error, and we can fill this up once our analysis has been completed. So since the minimum error is 0.014, we would like to see if there are any solutions lower than that. So let's take this number and place it here for a while so we can compare with other results later. Control. So how are we going to find the minimum error? Well, it can be split into 2 parts. Firstly, we can use AiSara to learn the pattern, and secondly, we'll be using the solver to find the minimum error within AiSara. So allow me to demonstrate to you how to use the learn function. We can press this button here, and we shall fill in the particulars within this form, which is the input, the output, the learn anchor cell. So as for the input, we can press this button here and select all of our input range. As far as the output, we can press the button and select all our output range. So as for the learn anchor cell, we can select a cell where AiSara will learn in it. So we can put it anywhere around the worksheet. So as for now, I would like to put it here. Well, let's put it here. And yes, I would like to color the input and the output range. Okay. So in just that small amount of time, AiSara has learned the pattern, and everything that AiSara has learned will be stored in this cell right here, and we can always use it later to find the minimal solution. So once we have used the learn function, we would like to see whether we have the optimal data for learning with AiSara. So in order to do that, we can go to the blind test button here, and we can fill in the particulars. So firstly, we shall select the anchor cell already specified for previously learned dataset, which shall be this one. An anchor cell for this blind test, where to put the reference. So let us take a rather big space here because the results will generate around this area. So let's put it here. And finally, the output. So we have to specify which column to be tested. So for example, our output column is in the first column here. So we can put the number as 1. So the calculation may take some time, and I'll see you in a bit. Here is the result of the blind test that I generated within another Excel. So as you can see, on the y-axis, we have the accuracy of the model that we measured using the r-squared function. You can learn more in the description link down below. And here is the x-axis, which is the amount of data that we used to learn from. For example, at this point, we used 40% of the data and we validated it with the other 60% of the data. So once the r-squared reaches a certain plateau, it shows that it is close to the optimal model. Next, I'll be moving back to the initial Excel worksheet. And that's the first part of the video done, which is to use AiSara to learn the pattern. Now moving on to the second part of the video, we will show you how to use the Excel Solver to find the minimal solution within AiSara. So the solver requires 4 things. Number 1 is the maximum and the minimum values for each variables. Number 2 is the variables that require changes. Number 3 is the objective cell function, which I can show you later on. And number 4 is to initialize the constraints for the variables. So firstly, we can find the maximum and minimum values of a variable by highlighting a cell here. And we can find the values of minimum and maximum down here. Or we can use the spider plot function, which can do that automatically for you. So you can click the spider plot function just now and select the learn anchor cell, and we can select the plot start cell, and the plot will generate in this direction. So I'll put it here for now, and the row number we can just put 3. And as for the output column, we only have one output column, so we put 1. And we can click OK to let the spider plot start generating. So it depends on the data that you have. The more data you have, the longer it takes for the spider plot to generate. But since we have a little data here, it just takes a few while, and now it's done. So when it's done, you can click cancel, and here's the spider plot that was generated. And within the spider plot, we were looking for the minimum and the maximum values, which is here, and we can use it to find the Excel solver. So I'll see you in a while. Next, we want to make one prediction with AiSara, a what-if scenario. So we can assume a value for the 6 variables and use the predict function. Over here, I have prepared some random values for each variable, so AiSara can predict from it. And to use the predict function is pretty easy. All we have to do is type equals predict, select our learn cell, the inputs in which we want AiSara to predict from, and the output column number, which is history matching error output column, number 1 for AiSara. And that's it. That's the prediction of AiSara for the history matching error using these values. And this cell is also the objective cell function we will use in Excel Solver. So let's head straight to that. To use the solver, we go to the data ribbon, and you can find the solver button here. And we have to fill in this particulars within this table. So we can set the objective function here, and we would like to find the minimum solution within AiSara. And we can select our changing variable cells, which are these cells over here. And then now we would like to initialize our constraints, which we can add here. So for the cell reference, I'll be using this cell. And I would like to use any number. The constraint shall be less than or equal to the maximum number here. And I can press add. And also, I would like to find values which are more than the minimum of this variable. So this process is repeated for all the variables, and I'll speed up through the video. So once we have filled all the constraints, which is in between the maximum and minimum values of each variables, we can click the Solve button here and let Excel Solver do the calculation. So I'll speed up the video a bit. Okay, so this calculation has been done, and we can click OK for the solver to keep its solution. So over here the solver says that these are the variables that we can use to get and predicted to get this history matching error, and this is the minimum history matching error value that we were looking for this video. So it is 0.0106. Okay, so you can imagine where this may help though. Apart from locating the minimum and maximum of your data set, you can use it to predict what those numbers are even before you have the data or in absence of the data. We hope this video has been useful, and it shows the AiSara capability can be combined with the Excel Solver to find an optimum solution. So this feature can also be useful to accelerate your search for a solution. Rather than running hours and hours of simulation, you can quickly estimate what those values are and verify later. Without AiSara, you will need an equation to describe the relationship between the input and the output, and this is often not available, especially with real data. So that is all for the video, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact us. You can email us at inquiry@aisara.ai, and if you would like to try this out on your own, feel free to. All of the description will be available down below. Thank you very much and have a good day.